So, one epidemic that nobody really seems to want to talk about is what I call TPS and NFP. Now, those are acronyms I'm going to use because some people are kind of sensitive, and I will say I'm not going soft. And the second one, NFP, is not hard. And I'm going to give guys that have major insecurity issues a tip. When you constantly go for the outgoing girl that's being passed around like she's a pool table at a bar on a busy night, you're not gonna win because those girls, well, they're at that bar every night. Not figuratively speaking. They're not social per se. They're just looking for a good time. They'll. I had this friend up in New York, and I remember I went up to see her. Me and a friend of mine went up to see her after I hadn't seen her in years. And we're walking down the road, and it's like midnight, and I'm in a town I haven't been in 4 years, and even then I hadn't been there long. So this guy pulls up in an El Camino, and he says, "You guys looking to drink?" And she goes, "Oh, yeah, yeah, let's go." And I'm like, I don't even know these people. Well, he said he's got beer. Well, if I would have known it was that easy, would have worked for $20 before I went out. And but the thing is, so here's the tip: you want to find the one that never leaves their house. Now, I wouldn't say this is necessarily relationship material, but I will tell you, you'll have a few less insecurities to deal with, especially if she has a door cam and ain't no dogs coming in the back because you probably got a camera back there. And the reason I say they're not really relationship material is because if they don't have an understanding of how normal society works because they're isolated, what's going to happen is you're going to try to lay down some rules, right? Because a man's supposed to lay down rules. When you go to work, don't expect those rules to be followed. That's the worst thing you can do. You want to be a pessimist, expect them to follow the rules. Especially when with kids. Because you're going to come home and you're going to notice little things that you wanted done that aren't being done because when you're not home for hours, they have to kind of refocus their brain to say, okay, this person's home now. If I don't want things started, I'm going to have to do these things. And the man, he's going to notice little things because we always do. And I'm not just talking about the dishes being done. I'm talking about, a bunch of clutter underneath the furniture. Oh, I'm talking about, a lot of things. I'm not even going to try to get myself into too much of a pessimistic mode. But you see, the point is, you have to trade off something. You're either going to have the socialite that, well, it seems like a socialite, but it's mostly based on insecurities. They're pretty much a half burnt flag flapping in the wind, and everybody smells the burnt part of it, and they know that's not a complete flag. They don't even have to see it; they smell it in the air. It's like, oh yeah, that's where all the wolves go to drink. Underneath that flag there. That's the watering hole, the one that never makes you pay a toll, or actually that flag, as soon as you fall asleep, they're going to move on. They're going to end up erecting their pole somewhere else, to somebody else's pole. But this is a large part of the loneliness epidemic. I know that for a fact, because that kind of insecurity, all those insecurities I just talked about, kind of wrap themselves up, and they kind of, they're like a poorly made taco. You get one of them soft taco shells, and you wrap it up, and a person don't know how to tie off the ends. It's gonna start poking out the sides. You're gonna start getting some refried beans in your lap, and that's gonna be the crap you deal with.